All right, let's fire up this explainer. Today, we're digging into a really complex, kind of fascinating piece of machinery, one that runs our lives every single day. We're talking about the identity machine.
So let's just start with this. Who are you? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But if you really stop and think about it, your identity, it's being defined, it's being checked, it's being challenged in 1,000 little ways every single day.
Okay, think about this. You call up some catalog to order a jacket. What's the first thing they need? Your name, your address. They got to verify you're a real customer. And bam, just like that, an identity gets verified, a transaction happens. Simple.
Or how about this? You're on a train, reading your hometown paper, and a total stranger comes up to you. Turns out you went to school with her sister-in-law. All of a sudden, you're not just a stranger anymore, are you? You're a neighbor, kind of. You have a connection.
And then there's this classic. You're at a club, right? The bouncer wants to see your ID, you've got the money, but you don't have that little piece of plastic. So in that one moment, you're not old enough. You're out, excluded.
You see, in all these little moments, identity feels kind of, well, trivial. It's just a key for a lock, right? But here's where it gets serious. As the sociologist Richard Jenkins points out, it's not always so simple. Sometimes the stakes are so much higher. We're talking life and death.
Just listen to this incredible story from 1935. It's about a fair-skinned Australian man of Indigenous descent. First, he gets kicked out of a hotel for being Aboriginal. Okay, but then when he tries to go back to the mission where he actually lived, they refuse him entry because he's not Aboriginal enough. Can you imagine? He's trapped between these two labels that other people have put on him with literally nowhere to go.
Or picture this one. It's Belfast, 1973. A guy gets into a taxi, probably just thinking about getting home. But then, that cold feeling starts to creep in. He realizes the taxi isn't taking him home. It's going deep, deep into a rival sectarian neighborhood. And in that place, at that time, who people thought he was, well, that could get him killed.
So what is this thing? This incredibly powerful force that shapes everything from a simple purchase to our literal survival. What is this identity machine?
Okay, so to really get how this machine works, we've got to look at its two fundamental parts. First up, let's talk about the two sides of identity. You know, the political scientist James Fearon gives us a really simple way to think about this, a great little tool. He basically says that identity is anything that you can use to fill in the blank in the sentence, I am an X. Simple as that. But the real question is, what kind of X are we talking about? Well, first, there's your social identity. This is when that X is a social category. You know, a group of people with a shared label. Like, I am an American, or I am a father, I am a teacher. These are the labels that connect us to a bigger group, to a collective we. And then, on the other side, you've got your personal identity. And here, that X isn't about the group at all. It's about the unique stuff, the qualities, the values that give you your own sense of self-respect. It's that core feeling of what makes you, well, you.
So you've got these two big forces, right? Social identity, that's the we, the shared stuff. Personal identity, that's the I, the unique stuff. But, and this is so important, they aren't in separate boxes, not at all. They're in this constant dance, always influencing and shaping one another. So how does that dance actually work? You know, the one between our personal self and our social self? Well, that question takes us right into the engine room of this whole machine. We're talking about the identity dialectic. Okay, if there's one single thing you remember from Jenkins' work, let it be this. Identity is not a thing. It's a process. It's not something you have, like a possession. It's something you do. It's an ongoing process you are in. You don't just have an identity. You are always, constantly, in the act of becoming it. Jenkins has a name for this process, the internal-external dialectic. And really, it's just a constant feedback loop. Think about it. Step 1. You put an image of yourself out into the world. You know, you project who you think you are. Step 2. The world sees that, and it forms its own idea about you. And then step 3, you take that external image and you internalize it. It actually feeds back and shapes how you see yourself. And that whole cycle, it just keeps going and going and going. The sociologist Irving Goffman put this so well. He saw us as performers. He said the individual is a harried fabricator of impressions involved in the all-too-human task of staging a performance. I love that. It's like we're all just actors frantically trying to put on a good show on the stage of life. But what's the performance about? I mean, what's the script? And that question really gets to the heart of a huge debate in identity theory. Are we building our identity based on how we're the same as other people?
Or is it all about how we're different? So on one side, you have this idea called the difference paradigm. It basically says our identity is built by drawing lines, by saying who we are not. But Jenkins comes along and offers a more complete picture. He says, look, it's not an either-or thing. Our identity is this constant, messy, dynamic negotiation of both what makes us similar to some people and what makes us different from others.
This actually connects back to a really powerful idea from Karl Marx. He kind of flipped the whole thing on its head. He said, it is not the consciousness of men that determines their existence, but their social existence that determines their consciousness. Whoa. To put that more simply, you can't separate who you are from who you're with. Our relationships define us.
Okay, so if our identity really is this big negotiation with the world around us, then we have to ask the most important question of all. Who's holding the power in that negotiation? And that brings us to our final part: labels, power, and the very real consequences.
To get a handle on this power thing, Jenkins gives us another great tool: the difference between nominal and virtual identity. So nominal identity is just the word, the label: student, immigrant, doctor. It's just a name. But the virtual identity, that's what that name does. It's the real-world impact, the opportunities, the barriers, all the actual experiences that get attached to that simple word.
And make no mistake, the power of these labels is just immense. A single word can totally shape your life, affecting everything from how people treat you to what resources you can get. It can even worm its way inside and change how you see yourself. But, and this is absolutely key, we're not just helpless. These labels can be fought. They can be resisted.
I mean, just think about a job interview. It's a perfect example. The recruiters are looking at your suitability, what you are. Do you have the skills? Are you competent? But they are also judging your acceptability. That's who you are. Do you fit in? And that second part, which is so often based on pure stereotypes, can end up mattering way more than what's actually on your resume.
So, here's what it all boils down to. Identity isn't some fixed thing you just have. It's a process. It's a negotiation. It's a performance that has incredibly real consequences. And that leaves us with one last really crucial question for you to think about. In the constant, ongoing negotiation that is your life, who's holding the power?